the Grand Egyptian Museum is set to become the largest archaeological museum in the world that's dedicated to a single civilization. This museum has been in the works for nearly 2 decades, and it has just opened in October, was a soft opening of 12 new galleries in the museum. It's located adjacent to the Giza pyramids, and it is a massive site and an absolutely incredibly beautiful building. Now, I went just expecting to be able to see the Grand Hall. I wanted to see the building and see this giant statue of Ramses. However, when I arrived, they told me that the day prior, they had just opened 12 new galleries. You can buy tickets online. However, we went ahead and bought our tickets on site when we arrived. Upon entering, you do have to go through a security screen. Your bags will go through an x-ray, and cameras were not allowed. So I showed up with my GoPro and my Insta360, and those had to go to the security office. I had to leave the security line. I had to go to the security office, which was just kind of around the corner. And then I had to drop off my cameras there. I was able to pick them up when I left, and everything was just fine. However, I only had my cell phone when I visited, and the batteries were running low. So I filmed what I could when I was in there. Hence, that's why I'm not talking in front of the camera at the Grand Egyptian Museum, but it was well worth it. So right now, with what they're considering this soft opening, this trial period, you can see the 12 main galleries. You can see the entrance hall. There's a food court. There's a gift shop. There is tons to see. The only things you can't see actually is the Tutankhamun exhibit and the Khufu's boat exhibit. Now, Tutankhamun, as far as I know, is still on exhibit at the main Egyptian Museum in Cairo. So if you have enough time, you should really visit both so that you can see all the artifacts. Now, this here in the main entryway is a 3,200-year-old statue of Ramses II. This statue was actually relocated from the main square in Cairo to the Grand Egyptian Museum site in 2006. It is absolutely huge, and it is so prominent and beautiful right in the Grand Hall. Now, when you arrive, you can go up this beautiful staircase that's dedicated to all the pharaohs of Egypt. They also have an escalator, and they do have a handicap accessible way to get to the top. Now, these are all the beautiful structures that we were able to see as we went up the staircase. And at the very top of the staircase is a grand view of the pyramids. I don't know why I didn't film, I just took a couple of photographs, but it is so gorgeous, perfectly positioned on the site. At the top of the staircase is where you enter the main galleries. And there are 12 galleries, and they go in chronological order. So you can pay attention if you want to visit the museum in time order. You know, you can follow the map and look through the exhibits. Now, this one area back here was closed, but a majority of it was open. Now, this area of the museum closed about an hour before the general complex closed. So if you're coming late in the day, I recommend you hightail it up to the main galleries and check out those exhibits before you get kicked out. They were very polite. They came in and very politely asked us to head out of this area so they could close it off for the day. So here's a few tips that you should know if you plan on visiting. First of all, its location. Now, because it's a soft opening and the grand opening hasn't happened yet, the majority of the parking lot is not accessible. So as you can see in this map, where you get dropped off when you visit the Grand Egyptian Museum is like this little little pull off right off this main highway. And the main highway is kind of dangerous, very high speeds. We were actually staying right across the street, and they did not advise that we walk to the Grand Egyptian Museum because it was so difficult to get across this highway. Now, when we were leaving, we were in a bit of a conundrum because our batteries were low on our phone and we were trying to call an Uber. Just know that if you plan to Uber and call an Uber, traffic is really bad in this area, and so it takes a while for the Uber to get to your site. And like I said, it's not the safest spot to be picked up right on that highway. So make sure your batteries on your phone are fully charged and you have plenty of time. If you have any questions about the Grand Egyptian Museum, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below.